Hi and welcome to your general induction to Chartered Accountants Ireland and the FAE programme. My name is Brian Rankin and with Chartered Accountants Ireland, and I hope you find this information helpful. This is going to be very relevant, particularly for new students at FAE in particular. I hope you very much enjoy the year ahead at FAE and you're very welcome to the programme. So just a brief introduction then of the format of this recording. The first is going to be the FAE induction, which I'm going to bring you through over the next couple of slides. Then the next section is going to be given by Nicola Sullivan, and that's going to cover the CA diary and all the requirements around completing your diary. Third part is the support given by the CA support team, and Niamh is going to take us through a number of slides there. And then lastly, the student representative body, CASSI, and Claire Monaghan has a number of slides and she's going to take us through that presentation just at the end of this recording then. So 4 different elements within this recording, and we'll focus here on the first part, which is your general induction to FAE. And here we see FAE Overview, and you'll probably know at this stage that it is it's composed of 2 key elements, FAE Core and FAE Elective. And at FAE level, it's very much the case that the exam drives the programme. The objective of the FAE programme is to assess candidates' total competency. The FAE course is designed to integrate the knowledge, skills and values derived from earlier studies and the work environment. At FAE, it's the way you use the knowledge you've accumulated through previous studies, work and the FAE programme. The FAE exam is very different to exams you've sat to date. Building on content examined at CAP 1 and CAP 2, FAE assumes your knowledge and tests your understanding and application of that knowledge in a real business type scenario. You'll be expected to think like a professional in an integrated manner and give the professional analysis and advice expected of a chartered accountant. There's no way to cram the skills required to be successful at FAE. It takes time and practice to be able to analyse and answer case studies in the manner required. Engagement with the programme is key to achieving this. So straight into it then, and to talk about exams, and in this case e-assessments. And chances are you're already thinking about exams even at this stage of starting FAE, which is great. So just to clarify, should any clarification be required, that all exams in the academic year 2021-2022 will be by e-assessment. And here you'll see the FAE key dates and the information available that the exams team has made available on e-assessments. And there's fantastic resources here for anyone who's new to Chartered Accountants Ireland. Well worth taking a look even at this early stage in terms of the resources available. All agreed dates for exams, interim exams, mocks are now available to view on the Institute website. And as I say, you have a wealth of resources available to you to get you up to speed. Into the programme then, and to drill down to, as you would have seen in the previous slide on FAE Overview, we talked about FAE Core. So when we talk about FAE Core, we talk about FOUR or FAB FOUR. We talk about financial reporting, strategic management and leadership, data analytics, artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, and finally, risk management and sustainability. So these are the 4 main competency groups outlined in the competency statement for FAE, and these groups will be examined during the FAE Core exam. Students will be expected to integrate knowledge, experience and skills across all technical areas when answering case studies presented in the FAE examination. At FAE Core, you'll have 1 interim assessment in financial reporting, and this exam in advanced financial reporting will take place on Saturday the 4th of December 2021 on our e-assessment platform. It's worth 15% of the Core FAE main exam. It lasts 90 minutes. It has 2 sections. Candidates are required to calculate financial statement values and to complete journal entries. Please refer to your AFR toolkit for more information about this assessment. At FAE Electives, there's no interim assessment in 21-22 academic year. 100% of the grade will be awarded in the main August exam. To move on to electives then, in addition to those 4 core subjects, each student completing FAE will be required to complete an elective. There will be a strong focus on electives in the second half of your academic year in your timetable. And as we previously stated, at FAE Electives, there isn't an interim assessment in the academic year 21-22. 100% of the grade will be awarded in the main August exam. Here you'll see on the slide 6 electives, and they're all listed here, so I'll let you take a look through those just to become acquainted with them. Moving on then and looking at FAE Integrated Case days, and here you'll see the 7 case days listed on this slide, and they'll become very much accustomed, you'll become very much acquainted to these case days and the naming around these over the course of this year. In addition to core and elective classes, FAE students are required to attend integrated case days. So integrated case days will be delivered through a series of webinars and pre-recordings. We'll go into a little bit more detail on that in the next slide or two. Case days are considered to be mandatory and are incredibly valuable for exam preparation. Students must attend at least 5 out of 7 of the case days to be eligible to sit the FAE exam. Integrated case days will begin on Saturday, the 29th of January 2022. So, as I mentioned, here's a little more detail about the delivery of the ICD of the Integrated Case Day. And here we see it's broken up into 4 key areas: the recorded introduction, the case study solutions, the live webinar, and the recorded solution. So just a little more detail on each of these points then. So the recorded introduction. Well, a recording of an introduction to each case will be available to you at 9:30 on the morning of the case day in question. This recording will be approximately 45 minutes and will include an introduction to each case and will highlight important areas within the case as well as pointers towards each indicator to ensure you've achieved maximum educational value from the case. Once the recording has been viewed, you'll be asked to attempt the case at home, noting any questions you've regarding the case, and you'll have until 3 p.m. to complete your answers. Then moving on to case day solutions. A link to the live webinar will be available to view on the Learning Hub. The live webinar will commence at 3 p.m. and should run for approximately 1 to 1.5 hours, including time for questions. The lecturer will go through the solution for each case and will identify the key points for each solution during this session. We hope to make this session as interactive as possible, with time allocated at the end of the session where your questions will be addressed, and polls and surveys will run throughout the session therefore, so engagement is required. Following on from each webinar session, you'll have the opportunity to submit any questions you have after digesting the information from the content covered. We'll accept questions by email until the Wednesday after the session has taken place. The questions will then be collated and submitted to the lecturer. The team will share these responses to the questions with all students approximately 1 week after the webinar has taken place. Your queries can be sent to fae@charteredaccountants.ie. And your email must include the following in the subject line: the case name, the indicator number, and the indicator topic. Then, looking at the recorded solution. So in addition to the live webinar, a separate recording of the solutions will be provided each Friday, approximately 1 week after the case day has taken place. This recording will provide more in-depth coverage of the solution for each case. The written solution for the case will also be provided on this date. So the FAE program puts significant responsibility on you to prepare in advance of coming to webinars and case days. Preparation will involve reading chapters from the supporting textbook and/or assigned questions. Information on pre-requirements is available on the Learning Hub. During the webinars, the lecturer will not necessarily be going through all the slides in detail. You'll be expected to follow the learning journal as part of your pre-webinar preparation. Webinars will be used as much as possible as a place for discussion of the more challenging areas within the FAE course, so participation is essential to maximize your learning. Looking at attendance now, and we understand your attendance and engagement with the learning materials, and we record, I should say, your attendance and engagement with the learning materials for a couple of reasons. We do so in order to track if any student is not keeping up, and we may need some intervention there. It's a requirement indeed of some training firms, and we use it to assess how students are engaging with our online learning materials. Attendance this year will be a combination of webinar attendance and engagement data from the Learning Hub platform, similar to last year. When you join an online webinar, you'll have to fill in your information, including the student number and your training firm. And in that way, a report is then generated which shows if the student attended and engaged during the webinar. Moving on to book collection then, and in response to the ongoing situation with COVID-19 and elements of lockdown, in the interest of students and staff safety, there will be no book collections in operation. So books will be dispatched by our distributor Shanahan's, who will contact the student directly once their enrolment has been processed. Keep an eye out for the email format, which is available on screen here. The book distributor Shanahan's and the courier companies will be contacting students by email with a form. If you have a change in terms of your address details, your home address details, that's your opportunity to contact Shanahan's and let them know about a change of home address details. And indeed, if the information is correct, there's also an opportunity to confirm it in that format. So key here is to keep an eye out for your spam or your email address, just to ensure that you spot that email coming in from Shanahan's or the couriers. Timetables then, and for FAE, timetables have been released for the pre-Christmas period from the start of the course commencement up to the turn of the year, and that's now available on the Institute's website as of October 2021. And the second half of the year, and the timetable for the second half of the year should be available then very shortly after this. Early November is anticipated. Notification will be issued on the Learning Hub in when that timetable will be available. And I draw your attention to the fact that for FAE, the first webinar for the Republic of Ireland students will be on the 27th of October. Remember that much of the education content is either pre-recorded or in polls or in case studies, which are not tied to time like webinars. So you can choose to engage with all that material on the Learning Hub when it suits you. Your first lecture will include an induction talk, which will give guidance on what to expect during the academic year. Just to say that we do our best to avoid any timetable changes, but they can happen due to unforeseen circumstances. So if a change is required, we'll send you a text message or a message via the Learning Hub to let you know. So please ensure that both your mobile number and your email details are correct on the student portal of the website. So onto the Learning Hub itself, and while the majority of FAE students will be very familiar at this stage with the Learning Hub and navigating the Learning Hub as progression students coming on from CAP 2, some students will join us first from a master's program. So for those students, we'll spend a little bit of time looking at the Learning Hub and navigating the Learning Hub. For those students, it'll be a very important question that they'll have. So where do you access your learning? Where do I access the lectures and all my education material? And as I say, the answer to that is through our online education portal called the Learning Hub. If anyone has experience of using Moodle in an online portal, well, ours is based on that. So it's very intuitive and easy to navigate. So for instance, this is what you'll see when you first visit the dashboard for FAE. You'll see FAE Core, and you'll see each of the subjects, and it's a simple matter of clicking into that subject, the subject you're interested in, and then you'll see all the learning materials, the topics and sessions within that subject. You'll get your login details a few days before the commencement date for FAE. And by way of training, we've created a couple of videos on this section of the website, which will bring you through all the different tools available and how to navigate the Learning Hub and how to get started. Please note that when you log in for the first time, you're not going to see all of the material for the full year. Instead, what you're going to see is the first tranche or the section of learning materials, covering approximately the first half of the academic year. We've taken this approach so that we can make incremental improvements to the latter half of the year, learning from our experience and feedback from you, our students, as we go. So just to draw your attention then to what we believe are 4 key documents for FAE, and they're all referenced here. So I'll go through these from the slide. The first is the competency statement. And for progression students who have come through perhaps CAP 1 or CAP 2, you'll be familiar with the importance of the competency statement. The competency statement gives details of the examinable learning objectives of each subject, assessment details, and additional guidance for each subject. Secondly then, the FAE course completion criteria, really important document, gives guidance on importance of attendance at the obligatory ICDs, Integrated Case days. Thirdly then, learning journals for each subject, and you'll need to refer to these before every lecture. The learning journals here, you'll see, gives details of the preparation required before you attend the webinar, texts and resources you'll need, and suggestions for follow-up work or study to assist your studies. And finally, the learning journals will also include additional resources that are outlined there. And fourthly, the timetable, obviously a key document. I've already mentioned that. It's now available on the timetable section of the website. Just drop to current students, and then one of the options available will be timetables. Your timetable for FAE for the first half of the year is currently available, and for the second half is anticipated that it will be available very shortly. Some important dates, and again, key dates is another page on the Institute's website. So again, go to current students, click down, and you'll see key dates there. All those dates are now on that page, and you'll see some of the key dates on this slide. So I'll let you have a look at this and digest and take note of some of the key dates that we're bringing to your attention here. Needless to say, we still remain in rather unusual circumstances this year in the course of our FAE program. As we've already touched on, all the education is going to be delivered exclusively online for this academic year to adhere to public health guidelines, and all students will have already been notified of that, so no surprises there. And just as we're getting used to this reasonably new way of education delivery online, we'll be asking you to approach fully online professional education in a different way to perhaps what you might have been used to in the past. To be successful with online education takes a much more active, committed approach. And we're flagging this to you at the very start of your FAE studies. There's much more responsibility placed on the individual student to take ownership of your studies and manage your time to get through a packed syllabus. The Learning Centre will record your activity on the platform to ensure no one falls behind, and you'll get reminders via email to complete a session. But it's going to be up to you to manage your progress. So for instance, when it comes to attending the live webinars, which we've focused on exam questions and solutions, you will be expected to have done all the pre-work beforehand. So based on our first very successful year of online education and learning, we have here created a number of tips and things to help you through the course of the academic year and to be successful in exams. So take a note of this, and some of the things refer to looking after yourself, creating a time and a workspace for your study, and use the resources available to you on the Institute website through the CA support team and others that are listed here on this slide. I couldn't emphasize enough the importance of some of these points: taking care of your health, including some time for exercise, small rewards. These are really important, and last year's education program, we found these to be extremely important. So we're bringing these to your attention here at the start of the FAE program. Moving on then, and one of the resources that I've touched on and the special services for our students, and I think it's particularly relevant to our FAE students, is the bottom line. It's the student-focused version of our member magazine, Accountancy Ireland. The team regularly pull together stories of interest to our student population, particularly FAE students. And there's great material for dropping into exam answers, so it's definitely well worth a look. You'll see the magazine and the stories in the Learning Hub, and you'll get alerted by email when the bottom line is available. But here you'll just see a couple of the FAE related stories that the bottom line has published. So there's lots of very relevant content for you there. Student feedback and student surveys are always important to us, but never more at this time as we continue on our exclusive online education provision. The usual surveys that we put in place in December and April cover the course as a whole, but this year we'll be aiming to get feedback from you on each specific subject. So our request to you here is please to take part and give us your feedback. It's hugely valued and will be listened to. Lastly then, your contacts for the FAE programme, and there's so many supports here to help you, so please do avail of those and let us know if you have any queries. The FAE programme team are here to help. Here the team are led by Bogdan, he's the programme lead, and ably assisted by Hina, Orna, Pavel, and your NI Northern Ireland FAE programme coordinator Laura. They're all here to help and to assist with any queries that you may have. Please use the FAE@charteredaccountants.ie email for all your queries. If your query relates to exams, then the correct email address to use is FAEexam, that's exam singular, FAEexam@charteredaccountants.ie for all queries in relation to exams. However, if your query relates to course delivery, then it's the FAE email address that you see here. So finally, I'd like to wish you every success in your FAE programme in the months ahead. Wish you every success in your FAE exams, and our team are here to support and assist. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Hello everybody, my name is Nicola Sullivan. I am a member of the team in the Training Support Unit in Chartered Accountants Ireland, and in the Training Support Unit we look after the CA Diary of Professional Development and any queries that you may have around the professional development piece. So I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the CA Diary of Professional Development. First off, what is the CA Diary? The diary is an essential online instrument for documenting and approving relevant work experience during the entire training period. And something important to note here is that the CA Diary is not something that's updated at the end of your training period when you've finished exams. It is expected that you will keep the diary up to date throughout the entire training period. The CA Diary is integral to the student journey and admission to membership. So as we look down the line towards admission to membership, you need your completed exams, but you also need a completed CA Diary to be eligible to join the Institute. So the purpose of the professional development piece is to show us that you have acquired a group of core mandatory skills and competencies throughout the training period. Depending on your educational background, you will be assigned either a 3.5 year or a 4-year training period. 3.5 years is the average that most trainees will complete. And throughout those years, you will be demonstrating to us through the CA Diary that you have acquired these professional values and interpersonal skills, that you have an awareness of the business environment, and those competencies are what we would refer to as your core generic transferable skills. And then as an add-on to that, you also have to demonstrate that you've met one group of functional competencies, and they could be from the auditing group, the finance group, tax, or IT. We do have a recognition of prior experience policy, which can recognize prior experience up to a maximum of 18 months. And if you are entering the program with any prior experience that you would like to get recognized, please do reach out to us at Training Support and we can help you. So, the principles of the CA Diary are really learning through reflection on work experience. And this is a fantastic practice to get into, reflecting and evaluating back on your own work. The CA Diary is a portfolio of your learning and development. It's an excellent tool to tap into throughout your career. When you're going for job interviews, you can look back on the CA Diary and take examples for interviews of all those wonderful competencies that you've achieved throughout your training. The CA Diary is your responsibility, so it is the responsibility of the trainee to update the diary with at least one entry per month. You should set review dates with your mentor. Keep on top of your mentor. Make sure they're reviewing your diary entries. Make sure they're completing 6 monthly reviews. Use the supports available to you. So you will see under Student Centre on our website, there is a page called CA Diary Resources. And on that page, you'll find lots of PDF guides, video tutorials, and recordings of recent webinars we have delivered, and use all of those supports available to you. Your goal is ultimately admission to membership. In order to be eligible for admission to membership, you need your exams, the education piece, and your experience demonstrated through the CA diary. So don't panic, please don't panic. Support on the CA diary is available to you. There's lots of, as I said, recorded tutorials and webinars available. We do recommend recording at least one diary entry a month. If you ever have any queries, concerns, anything you would like to discuss regarding the CA diary, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on trainingsupport@charteredaccountants.ie. And how do you gain access to the CA diary? Two things: you need to have an approved contract, whether that's a training contract or a flexible route contract. So that must be approved. You must have a mentor assigned. If you're completing a training contract, your firm will assign a mentor. If you're on the flexible route, there is a flexible route mentor approval form on that CA diary resources page that you can see on the screen now. Once you have those two things approved, you're going to gain access to the online diary platform, and that is through Current Students, Student Centre, and CA Diary. You're logging in with your student number and your password of choice, and you're gaining access to that online platform to create your diary entries. All right, folks, that's everything from me. As I said, please don't hesitate to contact training support at charteredaccountants.ie at any time, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you. Stop recording.
Hello everyone, my name is Dee France and I'm the manager of CA Support. This is an additional service here at the Institute, and I'd just like to run through a couple of the services that we provide for you. So our mission is pretty simple. This is our guiding principle, and it's the sole purpose is to care for the well-being of every student and every member for life. So just a little bit about the history of this service. The background is we have been around for quite a long time, 1928, and we were founded originally as a benevolent fund. So that was primarily to provide financial assistance to members that fell on hard times. So these days we've evolved into a fully holistic service, and that's very much about a people-centered service and looking after the whole person, so around your mental and your physical health. These days we're a registered charity as well, and we have a donation-based model where all of our services rely on donations from members of the Institute. We are separate to the Institute. We sit alongside the Institute with our own board of directors, and we actually have a dedicated team to look after this service as well. So just moving on, so what is it we actually do? So as I say, our sole purpose is about empowering and supporting our students and our members. We like to think that we're a one-stop shop for all of your well-being needs, and we are all about providing those practical and emotional supports to you throughout your whole life cycle. And the most important aspect here is that we are free for everybody. So there is that's a nice benefit to you. These are the sort of points in this life cycle that you may sort of hit road bumps, if you like. So obviously you're here at the very beginning, and the kind of issues that you might encounter would be around exam stress or financial issues, or indeed that work-life balance that you're trying to obtain. And then as you move through your life cycle, there would be other obstacles in your kind of personal and your professional life that we would step in to provide support around. So the other services that we offer to empower you would be the confidential listening service. We have an outside third party that provides professional counselling. And we have in-house wellness coaching provided by one of the team. And indeed those referrals over to the Institute for Career Coaching and Recruitment, a very good mentoring program that's in place. And then indeed those CPD and lifelong learning, those sort of professional development supports as well. And then obviously we run lots of mental health and wellbeing events that you're very welcome to join. So then the other supports that we have is a dedicated website with very fresh content uploaded all the time, and we tune into our key charity partners, just some of them there, A List for Life, the mental health charity Shine, another mental health charity. Obviously Drink Aware speaks for itself, and then that sort of youth program spun out as well. So we try to reach you on social media channels and then through the sort of more conventional newsletters. So we're obviously there talking to you and providing content all the while. So this is where you can reach us. Pretty straightforward, as I say. That's the dedicated website, and then we have a dedicated email inbox, and that's our telephone number. So just remains for me to say very, very good luck in your journey with the Chartered Accountants of Ireland. Thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm the current CASSI chair. So today I just want to talk a bit about CASSI and the regional societies and what they stand for and what they do. So to give you a broad overview, there's 7 regional societies and then there's CASSI. So the regional societies are specific to each area. So for example, there's the Dublin Society, which is CASSI, there's the Ulster Society and the Cork Society and so on. So where you sit your lectures depends on what society you'll fall under. So each of the regional societies host events which are specific to their region and their area. So these are events such as networking events, social events, mental health and well-being focused events, and educational events. CASSI, on the other hand, is the overarching society which encompasses both north and south of the island. So CASSI is very much chartered accountant facing. So instead of having, say, 7 chairs, Instead of having 7 chairs contact chartered accountants on different occasions throughout the year, we have a quarterly CASSI meeting whereby all of the regional societies can come together, discuss any of the concerns which were raised in their region, and then CASSI then escalate this on to chartered accountants. In terms of the positions on the societies, there's 7 positions on the CASSI society and there's 6 positions on each of the regional societies. The 7 on CASSI being the chair, the vice chair, the treasurer, the PRO, the secretary, the education officer, and then the 7th position, which isn't on the regional societies, is the events officer. So if you're interested, I'll just give you a quick overview. This is also their last AGM, which was 2020 and 2021. So this was actually the CASSI AGM, which was held in February. So in terms of what we do, I know I've mentioned some of the things that we do, for example, representing your views and concerns and having social events, but we're here to help out if you have any queries for us. We work with chartered accountants to provide your feedback and give the student perspective on the education and exam programs. There's obviously more crack involved in being involved in the student societies. So for example, every year there are different regional activities which take place. In order to get involved, you're sent an email or you can follow us on our platforms, which I'll mention. But for CASSI, there's one event, large event, which takes place, which gives students the opportunity to not just only network with their colleagues in their regions, but also network with students from across Ireland. This is usually held in the form of a ball down in Carlow, and it's a 2-day weekend away. So it's great crack. If you get the opportunity to attend, it's brilliant fun and I would highly recommend. Not that I'm slightly biased being on CASSI, but to get involved with CASSI or any of the regional societies, our AGMs for the regional societies are in October and November. So simply drop us an email or reach out to us on our Instagram or LinkedIn, and we can set you up with the regional chairs. And to get involved with CASSI, our AGM is in February, so you can get involved by sending us an email. You just speak briefly at the AGM and then there's voting as the norm. It's obviously great to get involved. What's really great about CASSI is it's an all-island society, so you meet students from across the island, both north and south. So it's a great opportunity to network, get to know people from across Ireland, and yeah, so if you're interested in getting involved, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks very much.